We live in times where there is a great need for a revival. Ellen G. White wrote, "A revival of true godliness among us is the greatest and most urgent of all our needs. Revival is an invitation to turn away from other gods and acknowledge Him as the sole Lord of our lives." 2 Chronicles 29-31 tells us about the revival during the time of King Hezekiah. The temple was repaired. The worship services were restored. Passover was celebrated once again. Levites were reinstalled to ministry. Restoration of true worship was at the heart of true revival. The people's response to the call to revival comprised of a concrete element. Then Hezekiah said, "You have now dedicated yourselves to the Lord. Come and bring sacrifices and thank offerings to the temple of the Lord." So the assembly brought sacrifices and thank offerings, and all whose hearts were willing brought burnt offerings. Spiritual revival acknowledges God as Lord, and one tangible means to honor Him is with our gifts. The story of Zacchaeus in the New Testament confirms giving as a result of true spiritual revival. Before welcoming Jesus as his guest of honor, Zacchaeus was the greediest man in Jericho. He was ready to betray his country, lose his friends, forsake his religion, and sacrifice his reputation for just a little more. However, when salvation entered his house, he was prompted to give more than what he owed. "I give half of my possessions to the poor, and if I have cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount." That was his love response to the love he received from Jesus. We can give without loving, but we cannot love without giving. The call for a spiritual revival resounds loud in our churches and homes. As we worship with our tithe and promise, regular and systematic offerings, let us show that the revival message has taken root in our hearts. May we put our desires last and God first.